Hi, I'm Joe. Thank you for watching this video. This video is from a series we're calling Stories from the Mouth of the Columbia River. We hope you enjoy this video and will like and subscribe.
Well, I'm Carol Lottie. I've lived in Astoria for 77 years, my whole life. I raised my kids there and been on the water my whole life, basically. Luckily, because I like the water. My father, Ralph Larson, was 27 years old when he had this accident working on the Jetty. He was great. A hard worker, always, whatever, he did a lot of different things, but always a hard worker, and just put your head down and go, you know, and he didn't talk about this accident that happened. In fact, I never heard him talking about it, but I wasn't born when this happened, you know. And then that letter that you have is was written to my aunt. From my mom.
In the
yes.
hospital.
Mm-hmm.
August 1st, 1937. Dear Ella and Bud, sorry to write you bad news, but Ralph hurt himself Wednesday. He fell 40 feet down the rocks. It wasn't his fault either. It was the crane driver's fault. Everyone said if it would have been Jim 4, the other crane driver, it wouldn't have happened.
Now I remembered this. My mom did say one time, she said, well, he had been drinking. She had said that. But there's nothing in the letter that says that. I don't believe. It said it was an accident. Yeah. He was working on the Jetty that day. They were all working on the Jetty. And then this, I guess he was called a pile driver. I don't know what he was. But anyway, he slung the rock out or something and hit my dad and hit him in the face, which I didn't know that. I mean I hadn't heard that from anybody that said that, and so it knocked him out.
This man, he was half asleep, and one of the stringers hit Ralph in the side of the head, close to the eye, and knocked him out. He had a big cut that bled quite a bit from it. His whole shirt in the front was bloody, soaked down to his underwear. He had to take 6 stitches. You see, he fell on his right side and mostly on his arm and shoulder. Page 3. His arm was broken in 2 places and his shoulder bruised something terrible. He had his ankle broken, one of his ribs were broken off completely, and this rib punctured his lung. He has 1 vertebrae broken too.
I don't remember what else, but plenty of things were broken or smashed. And anyway, he was in there for quite a while, quite a few, I don't know exactly how long.
Ralph said it sure was luck that he wasn't killed or either cut in 2. You know, he fell on a slanting rock, and that was what saved him from getting killed.
It was knocked out, he fell over, and they had to roll him off the rocks to get him off. He was a tall man, and so they did, rolled him, and his arm was already swollen up, like 3 times the size of it, and but he was knocked out, so he didn't feel anything.
The ambulance is just like an old truck. It's as hard as a rock. Then they never had any stretcher. They had to roll him on his side and then on the other side, and just back and forth it went. It sure is a terrible thing when they can't even have anything such as first aid. His arm was all twisted up. It took almost an hour before they got him to the hospital. The ambulance didn't have any siren on it. Then it had to stop for every little thing.
Well, I'm glad he made it through that.
I am too, because I would never have known him.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Well, I wouldn't be here.
Yeah.
What am I saying?
And he was complaining before that his lungs on his side hurt. It was hard to breathe. So when I came Friday morning, he was spitting blood and he could hardly breathe. The doctor was just operating on someone else that morning, so we couldn't see him. It was terrible to see him suffer like that. Then, pretty soon, his breaths came quicker and heavier, and his lips were beginning to get pale. Page 6. So, I went and called a nurse, and he got his doctor's son, and he told her to give him a shot in the arm to relieve his breathing. Then he fell asleep, and after he woke up, he felt better.
Addie had a good doctor, he did, and the doctor told him that he needed, if he, was able to do some work when he was done, all healed up and stuff, then he needed to take a job that he used all his muscles for, and so then he decided to become a gill knitter, which he had done when he was a teenager. He had to take care of his mom and two sisters because the dad died early. He had an infected tooth and died from it. And so he quit school and took care of his mom and dad, or his mom and two sisters.
Wow.
So he had been working for a long time. He worked as a teenager.
Talk about a shock when the superintendent came to tell me that Ralph got hurt. But I sure thanked God to hear that he wasn't killed. This happened an hour before quitting time. Well, Ella, I will have to quit now and mail this. To everyone from Ralph and me, Miss Ralph Larson, 255
No, he fished the Columbia River. Yeah, he had his boat on the John Day, and we, the kids, would go down and fish, for suckers and stuff all day. And
How long did he fish then, after the accident? Or how many years? I mean, it must have been quite a few.
Yeah. Oh gosh, yeah. He didn't have the record because there are some longer that's been on the Columbia River. Some of the fishermen. But it was, I think it was, oh golly, 50-some years, I think. And he died as a fisherman. He was still fishing. Although, he quit at maybe about a month and a half he quit when he made his last delivery. And then he was kind of bedridden for a while.
Mm-hmm. It's a tough way for a man like him to go.
Yeah. But even then he was happy. He wasn't a grouch or a grumper, and talked to everybody who came in to see him, and till he couldn't,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, in fact, one day he wanted to stay home, so he stayed at his home, and one day he fell out of bed, and so I couldn't get him back in bed because he still was big, So I called my Aunt Lorna. She lived up the hill, and Ernie came, and so we had three, me and Lorna and Ernie, and we still couldn't get him, and we started laughing, and then we couldn't, and Dad was just roaring, and we couldn't get him in, and it was crazy, but Dad just laughed, that hearty laugh that he had, and it was good.
Even then, wow.
Yeah.
It kind of says again how happy he was.
He was, yeah.
Yeah.
I always felt like I was pretty darn lucky. I got a good mom and dad, and good family, and all my relatives, are great. We're great people.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how that worked out. We did.
thank you for watching this video. We hope that it was interesting to you, and if it sparked in any way thoughts you may have about stories from your family or friends or anyone, we'd love for you to make connection with us. Go to our website at tamingthemouth.com and click on the contact button, and we look forward to hearing from you.